Under perfectly blue skies for one of the rare times over the last 3 days of this 2016 NCAA Southeast Regional, we get set for game number 7 of this weekend tournament, and the seasons are on the line for a pair of teams as the number 1 seeded Columbus State University Cougars and the 7th seeded Mount Olive Trojans get set to go head-to-head in an elimination battle here at Burger King Stadium at Ragsdale Field in Columbus, Georgia. Hello everyone, welcome back to Inside Burger King Stadium. Stephen Williams here with you on Cougar Sports TV as Columbus State and Mount Olive get set to kick things off here in game number 3 of the day and game number 7 of this tournament. Leading off for Columbus State, the right fielder, number 21, Jackson Oliver. Columbus State coming to the plate as the visitors in this game. The teams decide the home and visitor based on who's done it most once you get beyond the first round of the tournament. So that means that Columbus State is the visiting team, and the first pitch to Jackson Oliver is taken low for ball 1. Your starting pitcher on the opposite side for Mount Olive, Brighton Hudson, a left-hander who throws in a strike to make it 1 ball and 1 strike. Hudson, a sophomore, 5'10", 191 pounds, out of Garner, North Carolina, in Garner High School. Drops that one low and away for a ball. Hudson has already thrown an inning in this tournament. He threw against Lander in the opening game that Mount Olive played, the over 7-hour marathon thanks to lightning and rain. Back on Thursday on the opening day as this one's fisted foul on the third base side. On that day, Hudson lasted an inning. He gave up 2 runs on 2 hits, struck out 1, and only faced 5 batters. He threw just 17 pitches. So barely even a bullpen session for him, so he is just fine to return into this one. Jackson Oliver at the plate. He was 0 for 4 earlier today as he rolls another pitch foul. The Cougars lost 8-5 in dramatic fashion, losing it in 10 innings to USC Aiken earlier today. It was the first time the Cougars had played this weekend. Jackson was 0 for 4 in that one with a walk. He did score a run. Another ball that's just tapped foul. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jackson Oliver will be followed by Ryan Eiley and Mike McClellan. Christian Miller, Blake Edwards, Matt Nettles. The 1 through 6 is unchanged. Pitch outside, and the count's going to go full. Justin Evans moves up a spot in the order to 7th. Lake Hart in as the catcher for the second game of the day. Hits 8th. Tyler Fichter in the number 9 spot. On the ground to 2nd. Moving over to his left and making the play is Brandon Day. And Jackson Oliver is out number 1. The second baseman, number 13, Ryan Eiley. Defensively for the Trojans, in left it's David Mayo, Zach Orison in center, Stephen Wallace in right. Bradley Reagan plays third, Ricky Surham the shortstop. We already told you about Day at second. Joe Kohler the first baseman, and Brett Lang the battery mate of Brighton Hudson. Ryan Eiley's going to drop down a bunt down the third base line, but that's going to spin into foul territory. Head coach Carl Lancaster going back to the same starting lineup he's used for this tournament. The Trojans have already played a pair of ball games. They lost to Lander, as we mentioned, in the opening game of the tournament for them, and then had to come back. They were the only game that played last night here in Columbus because of rain and wet field conditions. They defeated 6th-seeded Catawba and eliminated the Indians, getting 2 runs in the 2nd, 5th, and 6th innings on their way to that win. This ball hit in the air to left. Plenty of room, though, and the grab will be made in shallow left by David Mayo for the second out of the inning. The first baseman, number 27, Mike McClellan. That'll bring Mike McClellan to the plate. McClellan, the senior out of McDonough, Georgia. All Peach Belt Conference first teamer, all Southeast Region first teamer. He's had a big year. Had a relatively quiet day earlier, though. He was 1 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts. He was also hit by a pitch. He's hitting .412 as he tipped that one off of Lang behind the plate. .412 average, 89 hits on the season, 12 doubles. He's homered a team high 18 times and driven in a team high 70 runs. He's also walked 26 times and been hit by 16 pitches. The 1-1 pitch. McClellan hammers this ball deep to left field. Mayo back to the wall. He's out of room and it's gone. Mike McClellan, home run number 19 on the season for the senior first baseman. Cougars on the board first, 1-0 Columbus State. The designated hitter, number 9, Christian Miller. So Mike McClellan leaves the ballpark. 19th time this season, first of the regional for him, and Christian Miller bats, and he rolls one through the right side. He goes the opposite way. That finds its way into right field. And the Cougars have a base runner on with 2 down. The third baseman, number 11, Blake Edwards. Blake Edwards will stride to the plate now. He had a good ball game offensively earlier this morning. Blake had a couple of hits, 2 driven in on a 2-run home run. He lines one to the right side, and a nice sliding grab made by the second baseman Day to put an end to the inning. But Columbus State strikes first. Solo home run for Mike McClellan makes it a 1-0 ball game. Trojans to the plate for the first time after this here at the 2016 NCAA Southeast Regional on Cougar Sports TV. Zach Orson to lead things off in the bottom of the first inning for Mount Olive. Columbus State gets a run in its half of the first inning on a solo home run by Mike McClellan. Luke Porter goes to work here in the bottom of the first inning now and tosses across a first pitch strike. It'll be Orison, Sherrill, and Lang due up here in the first. Wallace will hit if anybody reaches. Kohler, Mayo, Reagan, Surham, and Day as this ball's looped out into shallow right field. Ryan Eiley, the second baseman, back, stumbles as he makes the grab, but he gets it for out number 1. The designated hitter, number 13, Jack Sherrill. So Jack Sherrill will step into the batter's box. Sherrill hitting .310 on the season, 7 doubles, a triple, 17 driven in. Porter's first pitch in there for a strike. Luke Porter for Columbus State, the starter, the 6'1 junior. The right-hander gets set. This is his second consecutive big start for the Cougars. Last week made his first start of the season against a conference opponent. He'd been basically a reliever and a midweek guy all season long as the pitch missed that time. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Head coach Greg Appleton in his 19th season, though, tabbed Porter to go in the Peach Belt Conference Tournament in game number 3. It turned out to be a must-win ball game for the Cougars to get to the Peach Belt Conference Championship. Swing and a miss makes it 1-2. All Luke did was go out and throw 9 innings, give up just 3 runs against a very good Georgia College team, and pitch Columbus State into the Peach Belt Conference Tournament Championship, of which they went on to win. The 1-2 sprayed foul past third, and we'll try it once more. So Luke earned himself a start here again in the biggest ball game of the season now for the Cougars. Although every game they play from here on forward in this regional, you can say that tag will be on the ball game. 1-2 pitch into the air to center field. Tyler Fichter has it measured up, reaches up, makes the grab, and there's 2 away. The catcher, number 10, Brett Lang. Let's set the Columbus State defense for you. In left, it's Matt Nettles, Tyler Fichter in center, Oliver in right. Blake Edwards at third, up the middle, Evans and Eiley. Mike McClellan, who has the solo home run at first. Lake Hart making his first NCAA appearance behind the plate, and Porter on the mound. Lang goes after the first one, hits it right at Justin Evans at short. Fields throws, got him, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Luke Porter. Trojans go in order, 1 inning in the books. Cougars on top, 1-0 here at the NCAA Southeast Regional on Cougar Sports TV. Matt Nettles leads things off here in the top of the second inning for Columbus State as Brighton Hudson leaves the breaking ball high and inside. Matt, one of the many seniors in the Columbus State starting lineup as he chops the pitch foul of first, just on the foul side of the bag. That was rather close. Matt, a .258 hitter, has started 54 of the 55 games coming into play in this one. 55 hits, 24 of those have been for extra bases. 13 of them have left the yard, as they're going to say he went too far around. Tony Williams, your home plate umpire. Josh Reap at first, Vincent Kracher at second, and Kevin Morgan over at third. Matt 1 for 5 in the loss to USC Aiken today as the ball bounces in the dirt. Lang keeps it in front of him. Mount Olive won the game 6-4 last night to eliminate Catawba. These two teams forced to win 5 more games from here in a row in order to win the Southeast region. You have to win tonight, then they're going to need to pick up a victory tomorrow against the winner of our next game, which will feature Belmont Abbey and Tusculum. Nettles ropes this one to second. Day makes another sliding grab to his left, this time off a bounce. Gets up and throws out Matt. And there's one out here in the second.
The shortstop, number 14, Justin Evans.
So to say it is a steep mountain would probably be an understatement. 5 wins over the course of the next 2.5 days. Justin Evans, the batter, the freshman shortstop for Columbus State. He tries to bunt his first time. Some backspin brings it back towards home plate. Hudson fields and got him. Bang, bang play at first. And Evans can't believe the call. But he's going to head back to the first base dugout as out number 2.
The catcher, number 7, Lake Hart.
Lake Hart, the batter now. Bases clear and 2 outs. The switch hitter will turn around and bat right-handed against the southpaw on the mound, Hudson, who leaves the first pitch fastball a little bit outside. Lake did not play in game number 1. He usually catches the second game of the weekend for Columbus State, and that's what he's doing here today as he takes the fastball on the inside corner for a strike. Hart, a .349 hitter, 29 hits and 83 at-bats. He's driven in 36 as he's out in front of the changeup, comes up empty on it, and it's 1-2. Fastball shooting for the outside corner. Just off the plate, ran off of it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Columbus State out to a 1-0 lead after a Mike McClellan first inning home run. Cleared the wall in left. Made this a 1-0 game. Payoff pitch. Low and in the dirt. It's going to get all the way to the backstop. Hart's going to work his way quickly to first just in case there's a chance to advance. Lang will pick it up. 2-out base runner for Columbus State.
The center fielder, number 3, Tyler Victor.
So 2 outs and a runner at first. Tyler Victor will dig in. Tyler, the junior college transfer, hitting .361, shows bunt, pulls back, and takes it for a ball. 70 hits for him on the season. He's one of 5 Cougars with 70. There are 4 Cougars that have 88 hits or more in this lineup. 70 for Tyler, though. 10 doubles, 2 triples, a homer, 29 driven in. Pitch in the strike zone, evens things up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Victor was 1 for 3, had a bunt single and a walk. Ball drops in the dirt, 2 balls and 1 strike. The 2-1 popped up. Second baseman Day calling everybody off. Makes the grab for the final out of the inning. So the Cougars get a 2-out base runner on a walk. Nothing doing, though. An inning and a half in the books. 1-0. Columbus State leads it here at the NCAA Southeast Regional on Cougar Sports TV. 4, 5, and 6 2 up for Mount Olive here in the bottom of the second inning. Stephen Wallace to lead things off. Pitch drops in for a strike. Wallace had a 3-run home run in the loss to Lander on Thursday. That was his only hit in that ball game. He was 1 for 2 with a couple of walks last night against Catawba. Back-to-back strikes thrown in by Luke Porter. This is probably an odd feeling for Columbus State because they are working out of the opposite dugout from what they're used to playing at in their home field. Third base dugout designated as the home dugout for the entire tournament. So the Cougars as the visiting team on the scoreboard as Wallace down on strikes. Cougars working out of the first base dugout.
The first baseman, number 6, Joe Kohler.
Joe Kohler will step in now. Kohler hit a solo home run, also in that game against Lander. He was 1 for 3 last night. So a couple of hits for him and 5 official at-bats in the 2 tournament games so far for the Trojans. These 2 teams, not very close, separated by nearly 530 miles. Columbus, Georgia, and Mount Olive, North Carolina. Not all of the furthest team away mileage-wise in this tournament. As Kohler cues that one, foul of third. That is not a short trip between those 2 cities. Seven and a half hours, the official drive time between the 2, and I imagine by bus that was a little bit more. Fastball outside to Kohler. Taken for a ball. Kohler hitting .267, does have 11 home runs though, with 39 driven in. 1-2, long fly ball, right field. Jackson Oliver on the track, looking up, leaps, and it's gone. Kohler got it up in the jet stream here at Burger King Stadium, and the ballpark is just small enough to let that ball get out of it to right field.
The left fielder, number 2, David Mayo.
David Mayo will bat now as the ball game is even at 1. Kohler, the solo home run, that is his 12th of the year, 2nd of the regional. And everything all knotted up. That's the first base runner that's reached against Porter as well. David Mayo digs in now as he stares at a couple of pitches that missed the mark and is heading the count 2-0. Mayo, the junior out of Bethlehem, Georgia, from Chattanooga State Community College. Mayo 2 for 3 in last night's victory. Was hitless in 4 tries against Lander as he's not pleased with the strike call there. 2 balls and a strike. The 2-1 in there, that time on the inside half. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Popped up right side, but that one's going to drift over the new roof here at Burger King Stadium. Out into the concourse behind the grandstands. Two balls and 2 strikes. Porter works out of the windup on the far first base side of the rubber. Out of play right side. That one will be over towards the Student Recreation Center. One away and the base is clear in what is now a tie ball game at 1 apiece. The 2-2. Broke off the outside corner. Porter thought he had a strike. Looked outside from here. And the count will push full. Game just prior to this one, an 11-4 victory for the Bearcats of Lander University. So Lander and USC Aiken, the two remaining unbeaten teams in this Southeast Regional. Hot shot to short. Backhand dropping to a knee. Evans will wind and fire a strike to first base for out number 2. Has good range and a missile for an arm and showed it off there.
The third baseman, number 51, Bradley Reagan.
Bradley Reagan into the batter's box. Stares at a breaking ball for ball 1. Reagan 1 for 4 last night with a couple of RBIs. Was 1 for 4 in the opening game too, so hitting .250 in this regional. Takes a strike on the outside corner. Luke Porter on the season for the Cougars is a perfect 6-0. This is his 6th start of the season. Has an ERA of 4.89. Another pitch, another strike. The Cougars' pitching has been their Achilles heel, and it was earlier today. Gave up 8 runs in the loss to USC Aiken. They have a 5.47 ERA as a team. The Cougars have been outslugging people all year long and only got 5 runs in the ballgame earlier this morning. Usually not a recipe for success when you get into postseason baseball at any level. Pitching and defense usually the name of the game. Cougars at one time late in the year were the number 1 scoring offense in all of Division II as it's rolled foul. They were averaging around 11 runs per contest, but they were in the 150 range in the country in ERA as a squad. Before last weekend's Peach Belt Conference tournament, the Cougars had won just 1 game all season in which they scored less than 7 runs. The 2-2 pops straight up. Back of second base, Ryan Eiley gives way to Jackson Oliver, and the Cougar right fielder makes the grab to end the inning. But Joe Kohler ties the ball game up with a solo home run into the netting in right field. It's 1-1 after 2 here at the NCAA Southeast Regional on Cougar Sports TV.
The NCAA would like to thank official equipment suppliers, Honix, Rawlings, and Spec Seats for their support of NCAA championships. Their contributions help enhance the educational and athletic experiences of more than 460,000 NCAA student athletes. Do you plan to play college sports? Visit ncaa.org/playcollegesports to learn more about NCAA eligibility requirements.
Stephen Williams back here with you on Cougar Sports TV. NCAA Southeast Regional action from Columbus, Georgia. Columbus State at the plate to start off inning number 3 as Brighton Hudson of Mount Olive tosses in a first pitch strike to Jackson Oliver. Fastball high, 1 ball, 1 strike. 1, 2, 3 in the Cougar order due up here in the third. It's a 1-1 ball game. A pair of solo home runs have this one tied at 1 apiece. Pop up, third base side, foul territory. Reagan, all by himself over near the third base coach's box, makes the grab. And Oliver retired for the first out here in the third.
the second baseman, Ryan Eiley.
Ryan Eiley into the right side now. Ryan flew out to left field his first time up, goes after the first pitch here and fouls it away. Mike McClellan and Joe Kohler, the two respective first basemen, each with solo home runs in this game. Breaking ball spins high for Hudson. It's taken out of the zone. 1 ball and 1 strike. Eiley, .413 average. That's the best on the team coming into this game. 95 hits for him. That is tied with Blake Edwards for the most hits on the team. On the ground to second. Day moves up the middle. He's been busy in the first 3 innings and handles another chance cleanly for the second out of the inning.
The first baseman, Mike McClellan.
That'll bring Mike McClellan back to the plate. He hit the third pitch he saw out of the ballpark. His first time up, it was his 19th home run of the season. First pitch bounces in the dirt, blocked by Lang. Bryton Hudson has a 7-3 record this season. 77 innings pitched, a .338 ERA, as Mike McClellan's going to reach with his second hit in as many at-bats. As he goes deep in the hole at short, neither Reagan nor Surham could get to it in time to throw him out, and Mike has 2 of the 3 hits for Columbus State.
The designated hitter, Christian Miller.
The Columbus State hit belongs to the man walking to the mound. Christian Miller rolled the ball through the right side. Sharply hit back in the first inning. It turned into nothing, though, as he watches the changeup miss inside for ball 1. Miller was the MVP of the Peach Belt Conference tournament. Had a couple of home runs over in Florence, South Carolina, as he crushes this one down the left field line. That's a fair ball in the corner. McClellan around second. He's headed for third. They're going to go throw the stop sign up on him there. Mayo got it back in quickly, but Christian Miller and Mike McClellan are both 2 for 2, and they're standing on second and third with 2 away.
The third baseman, Blake Edwards.
So Blake Edwards will have another chance to hit with a runner on and 2 down. He lined out sharply to the second baseman to end inning number 1. Run scoring chance here, though, as he gets set to dig in. As we mentioned, Blake and Ryan Eiley each have 95 hits this season. According to the Peach Belt Conference record book, there have only been 7 guys in Peach Belt Conference history, that's 25 years worth, to record 100 hits in a season. Blake and Ryan each at 95. Mike McClellan now at 91. So Columbus State has 3 guys, 9 hits or fewer away from that 100 mark. Chopped foul of third. Patrick Collins, longtime assistant coach for Columbus State, picks the ball up in foul territory. The Cougars have had really a phenomenal season offensively, and that has been what has led them to 42 victories this season. 42-13 are the Cougars. Mount Olive, 32-20. Cougars and Trojans both automatic bids into the Southeast Regional. Columbus State won the Peach Belt Conference tournament last weekend. Mount Olive won the Conference Carolinas tournament. That was 3 weekends ago, though. Blake takes the pitch down low, right above the shoe tops. 2 balls and a strike. After losing to Pfeiffer early in the Conference Carolinas tournament, the Trojans bounced back, beat Belmont Abbey, who is the 3 seed in this regional, and then beat Pfeiffer for the championship and earned the automatic spot, a bid they were not going to get without the benefit of the tournament championship. Pitch in for a strike makes it 2-2. 1-1 the score. CSU threatening, though, to take the lead back if Blake Edwards could find a 2-out base hit. Hudson's 2-2 in the dirt. Lang, a nice wall behind the plate. Keeps it in front of him, but the count goes full. The Trojans had a couple of games that they played non-conference between the Conference Carolinas Championship and this regional. Because the tournament was played so early, they needed to get a couple of non-conference games in. Edwards again towards third, and this one on the foul side of the bag. Reagan will pick it up, and we'll have to do 3-2 one more time. Trojans played Winston-Salem State and Chowan at Scarborough Field. They're in Mount Olive. Won both of those ball games. Just games for Carl Lancaster's squad to stay fresh and find some kind of a rhythm before taking 8 days off and kicking off in this regional tournament. Down the right field line would have been trouble, but it twists foul into the Columbus State bullpen. And the extended at bat continues. Mike McClellan, a 2-out single on the infield. Christian Miller followed with a double into the left field corner. They're both in scoring position with 2 outs. Payoff pitch. Again towards third and again foul. Patrick Collins 2 for 2 on his opportunities at third base. Outfield straight away. Infield playing back all the way around. Runners take their lead from second and third. Blake hits it in the air down the left field line. Shortstop Surham going into foul territory now. Reaches up, makes the catch, and Columbus State will strand a pair of runners in scoring position. Cougars get back-to-back hits with 2 outs. Nothing comes across to score, though. 2.5 complete. It is 1-1. Columbus State and Mount Olive here on Cougar Sports TV. Eight, 9, and 1 due up for the Trojans of Mount Olive here in the bottom of the third inning. Just one hit across for Mount Olive, but it was a solo home run from Kohler. And it has this game tied at 1 apiece as Ricky Surham swings through the first pitch. Surham stares at a breaking ball there that moves it to no balls and 2 strikes now. Surham, the Mount Olive shortstop, hitting just .221 on the season, 2 doubles, a triple, and 11 driven home. In the air, right side, Ryan Eiley into the outfield grass, calls off Jackson Oliver, and he'll make the catch for the opening out of the inning. So Luke Porter's retired 7 of the 8 batters he faced.
The second baseman, number 8, Brandon Day.
Brandon Day rounds out the Mount Olive order. He is 1 for 7 in this regional. That one hit coming last night against Catawba. Day hitting .368 for the year, though. Limited at bats, 25 hits and 68 trips. Inside corner, he's down 0-2 as Porter has had good command of his pitches early. 4 doubles, 1 long ball, 18 driven in. As Day calls time to try to get Porter out of his rhythm. Day, the senior out of St. Augustine, watches a fastball, waist pitch high. A little bit outside as well, a ball and 2 strikes. Columbus State with 4 hits to just 1 from Mount Olive, but it's a solo home run per side that has this game at 1-all. Porter winds the 1-2. Again in the air, a lot of pop-ups in this one. Foul of first, Mike McClellan runs out of room as that's off the tent down the right field line. Columbus State playing Day straight away. As that ball is knocked foul. 2 teams playing to keep their season going. Loser of this one is done for the year. The next time they'll hit the field officially will be in 2017. The winner earns a date tomorrow at 3:30 against either Belmont Abbey or Tusculum. That is the game that comes your way 45 minutes or so after this one ends. Outside with another breaking ball, 2-2. 3 more games on the docket for tomorrow. USC Aiken and Lander will play at noon in the winner's bracket final. The winner will be in the championship game of the regional. As that one goes too far around to the check swing, it got away from Lake Hart, though, and Day is going to reach. It's a strikeout for Porter, but a bit of bad luck as the ball goes to the backstop and Day reaches.
The center fielder, Zach Orison.
Zach Orison, the number 1 hitter in the Mount Olive order. Rolls the first one, hole at short. Justin Evans is not going to have a chance to get anybody. Got to it, but leadoff man running to first. Should be an infield single for Orison, and there are 2 on with only 1 out. So the Mount Olive rally starts with a strikeout. It has 2 on and only 1 down.
The designated hitter, Jack Sherrill.
Got a wild pitch. Allows Day to reach. Orison with the infield single, the second hit for the Trojans. And Jack Sherrill into the left side. Hart keeps this one in front of him, but takes one. Sherrill 1 for 5 in the regional coming into this ball game. He does have 3 runs scored, though, as CSU looked at a pickoff to second. Sherrill 1 for 6 now after he flew out to center field. 5th pitch of his at bat. Back in the first. Porter operating out of the stretch, the 1-0 pitch. Flashed foul of third. Solid contact, but late. 1 ball, 1 strike. Both teams rocking their color uniforms in this one. We've gone with the Christmas combination as this ball's lined towards left center field. Victor got a good jump on it, but it's going to drop in front of him. Now Alex can score and take the lead. Diving into second head first is going to be Sherrill. Everybody gets 2 bases, and Mount Olive leads it 2-1.
The catcher, Brett Lang.
So third hit of the ball game, second of the inning, brings a run across, and that's a tough one for Luke Porter to swallow because the run that scored was a strikeout, but reached because of a wild pitch. Now he's got to find a way to wiggle out of this 2-1 ball game. Mount Olive in front and threatening to add on. Runners at second and third, still only 1 out, and Brett Lang, the number 3 hitter in the order, at the plate. Lang got a fastball up that time. Got underneath it, though, fouled it straight back. Lang grounded out to Justin Evans his first time. Lang bats with a wide open stance on the right side. Tilts the head of that bat, points it straight at the dirt behind him. As Porter paints the black on the outside corner, it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Runners take their leads there at second and third. The 1-2 in the dirt. Hard, a nice job that time to keep it right between his legs. Porter closing in on 50 pitches here in the first 3 innings. Albert Harless started for Columbus State in the opener today. As Lang lines this into center field, that's down for a hit and 1 run in. Here comes the second. It's going to be a 2-run single for Lang, and it's a 4-1 game in favor of Mount Olive.
The right fielder, Stephen Wallace.
So the Trojans getting the bats working here in the third. They have 3 runs on 3 hits. And the bullpen will start to work down the right field line for Columbus State. Stephen Wallace to the plate, the senior from Norwood, North Carolina. Stares at a first pitch ball. Columbus State trying to avoid going 0-2 in its own regional, but the Cougars over the past 6 years have not had good luck or good fortune in any postseason style tournament that they have hosted. The 1-0 rolled foul towards the Trojan dugout on the third base side. Starting in 2011, Columbus State has hosted 3 Peach Belt Conference tournaments and now the NCAA Southeast Regional. In those 4 tournaments, counting the loss this morning, the Cougars are 1-6. It has not been happy days for them here at Ragsdale Field and also at Golden Park, the former minor league ballpark that is in downtown Columbus. A ball and 2 strikes here to Wallace. Both sides with 4 hits. Mount Olive stringing theirs together, though. Off the front foot that time of the Trojan right fielder. It went right back to Porter on the mound. 4-1 the score here in the bottom of the third inning. A ball and 2 strikes with 1 down. Wallace waves that bat back and forth. Porter's pitch in the dirt again. RBI double for Jack Sherrill, 2-run single for Brett Lang. Last inning, it was a solo home run from Joe Kohler. Fly ball right field, and this ball's deep. Jackson Oliver is at the wall again, and he runs out of room. That ball carries out of the ballpark. Wallace with his second home run of the regional. This is a 2-run shot, and Mount Olive breaking it open here in the third. That's a 5 spot on the board, a 2-run homer, and it is 6-1 Trojans. That will draw Greg Appleton out of the dugout, and the day is going to be done for Luke Porter. So not the start he was hoping for. He goes just 2 1/3. He will leave down 6-1 as the Cougars' season in jeopardy here at the NCAA Southeast Regional. Outing for Porter. Had last South Carolina in the Peach Belt Conference tournament. He lasts just 2 1/3 innings. He gives up 6 runs on 5 hits, no walks, and struck out 2. He faced 13 batters through 54 pitches. Jacob, new pitcher for Columbus State. As Kohler goes after the second pitch he throws. That's into the right field corner. Kohler around first. Just a beat on its first batter.
The left fielder, David Mayo.
So Kohler in scoring position. David Mayo, the batter. Jacob Bakucci making his 9th appearance of the season. 7th out of the bullpen. He's thrown 19 innings, given up 10 earned runs. He has a 4.74 ERA. 15 strikeouts to just 2 walks. So he's in the strike zone more times than not. And drops a good curveball in there for strike 1 to David Mayo. Mayo is 0 for 1. He grounded out to the shortstop. This inning started pretty innocently. Ricky Surham popped up to Ryan Eiley, and then Brandon Day struck out. However, on the strikeout, the ball got away from Lake Hart, and he reached, and Luke Porter didn't get another out after that. Ball low and outside. It's 1-1. Orison singled on the infield. Sherrill doubled in a run. Lang singled home 2, and Wallace homered. That chased Porter from the game. And then Joe Kohler greeted Jacob Bakucci with a double down the right field line. The 1-1 to third. Blake Edwards takes the tough hop. He'll go across the infield for 1. They'll come back to third as Kohler tries to advance. That won't be in time, but they will finally get the second out of the inning.
The third baseman, Bradley Reagan.
The ground to second. Ryan Eiley. Columbus State with some work to do now. Matt Nettles will dig in after the Cougars give up 6 unanswered, 5 in the third inning, and they trail this one 6-1. Matt Nettles, the batter, as Brighton Hudson works with the lead for the first time today and tosses across a first pitch strike. Matt hits this one in the air. That ball's hammered to right field. That ball's going back, and it's off the top of the wall. Matt around first. He's headed for second, and he will stop there. So a good start for Columbus State in the fourth.
The shortstop, Justin Evans.
Matt Nettles with the double. That's his 12th of the season. One of 7 Cougars with double-digit doubles, all of which are in the starting lineup. Justin Evans now to bat. Columbus State needs to start stringing hits together the way that Mount Olive did in the third, as Evans out in front of the changeup comes up empty on it. It's 0-1. Evans trying to lay down a bunt for a base hit his first time up and was thrown out on a bang-bang play at first base by Hudson. Southpaw working out of the stretch, misses outside, evens it up 1 ball, 1 strike. Justin hitting just .211 coming into this ball game, 23 hits as he's been mired in a bit of a slump here lately. But when you play defense the way he does at shortstop, you will consistently find your way into the lineup. Hit softly towards center field. Orison got a good break, and he comes in to grab it in shallow center for the first out.
The catcher, Lake Hart.
Lake really here's a guy that's hitting 49, 5 homers and 36 driven in 25 games. And they can't find a spot for him. Hunter Bowling, a little bit better defensively. The designated hitter, Christian Miller, is hitting .335 with 13 home runs. Kept dying on him.
The center fielder, Tyler Fichter.
So Matt Nettles doubled off the wall to start the inning for Columbus State. And they've been unable to move him up. A couple of fly balls to center field. Cougars struggled a little bit with situational baseball in game number 1 today. Ultimately lost that one 8-5 in 10 innings. Head coach Craig Appleton talking after it was over about the fact that they just failed to execute when they needed to most. USC Aiken was able to execute and find the big hit. Columbus State wasn't. And thus the Pacers sitting in the winner's bracket final. Pitch drops in for a strike. Looked off speed again from the left-hander. 1-1. Fichter lines this one right at the second baseman, Day, and Columbus State will waste the leadoff double. 3 straight outs leaves the runner on second, and it's 3.5 gone by. 6-1, Mount Olive in front. Elimination game here at the NCAA Southeast Regional on Cougar Sports TV. Williams back here with you on Cougar Sports TV. 2016 NCAA Regional. Rick Durham leads things off in the bottom of the 4th inning. Spikes the first one. Durham led off last inning. Popped up on the 3rd pitch of the at-bat to shallow right field. The Trojan offense took care of it from there, though. They scored 5 runs on 5 hits. Out of play right side. Bakuchi came on with 1 out in the bottom of the 3rd inning, was able to escape trouble after he gave off a double to start his appearance. Retired the next 2 hitters. Now he goes to work in his first full inning as the pitch misses. 2 balls and a strike. Brighton Hudson on the opposite side has kept the Cougar bats silent for the most part. A run on 5 hits in 4 innings of work. He's thrown 61 pitches. Only Columbus State run of the ball game, a solo home run by Mike McClellan back in the first. Cougars the visiting team, so that was in the top of the first inning. Mount Olive has scored 6 straight since. Loop down the third base line, and that is going to be just foul. Kevin Morgan, our third base umpire, straddling that line in the outfield grass, had a good look at it, ruled it foul. The organist getting fired up here at Burger King Stadium. Always in a great mood. This one between short and third. That'll find its way into the grass in left field. Big turnaround first for Surham, but the throw comes back in. 7th hit of the ball game for Mount Olive, though, and it's a leadoff single here in the 4th.
The second baseman, Brandon Day.
Brandon Day, the number 9 hitter. With Surham on, Day shows bunt, pulls back. They'll pick to first, but Surham able to get back in time. Day started the third inning rally for Mount Olive with nothing else but a strikeout. Went down on a check swing, strike 3, but a wild pitch let him reach first, and it opened the floodgates for Mount Olive. Bunt now back to the pitcher on the first base side. Bakuchi fields his position, throws on to McClellan for the first out of the inning.
The center fielder, Zach Orison.
Zach Orison now was one of the heroes of last night's victory for Mount Olive in a 4-4 ball game late. Bottom of the 6th inning, they had runners on first and third. It was Orison that was on third, and with a lefty on the mound, a pickoff to first base. Orison broke for home plate, and after the throw over to first, they tried to come home with it, and he slid in just ahead of the tag as he swings through the first pitch for a strike. Orison was in the post-game press conference and was asked about that play, and he said it was something he had watched on TV. Bryce Harper had done it and said he'd been waiting all year for the chance to do it and really hadn't had an opportunity. Had not been on third with a left-hander on the mound and a runner on first as well. And he had been waiting and waiting and waiting for it, and he said he had caught Kataba's signals to pick off, knew the pickoff was coming, and got the good read and the good break for home plate. So if nothing else, a heady play and an aggressive one at that, and it ended up being the game-winning run. He had been paying attention all game long at the calls coming out of the Catawba dugout. They were verbal calls. And he knew the pickoff was coming, started to get his lead, and then broke for the plate on the throw. Foul ball, caught a piece of Lake Hart behind the plate and goes to the backstop. It's 1-2. It's the little things in baseball that can win you ball games, especially in the postseason. Those little things become magnified. And took one of those very little minute details and turned it into a game-winning run. Bakuchi sets, checks the runner at second, and he'll check him a little bit harder this time as he spins with an inside move. Rather subdued silence here at Burger King Stadium. It's one way to take a home crowd out of it, put 6 runs on the board in the first 3 innings. Ground ball to third. Edwards looks the runner back. The throw is head high to Mike McClellan for the second out.
the designated hitter, Jack Sherrill.
So Mount Olive will put their run-scoring chances in this fourth inning in the hands of Jack Sherrill with 2 outs. A run-scoring hit his last time up as he dumped a double into shallow left center field. Ricky Surham led the inning off with a single. He's standing off the second base bag. First pitch from the right-hander Bakuchi is low for ball 1. Could not ask for much better weather now. You could not say that, though, about the first 2 days of this tournament. This tournament has been consumed with lightning and rain, and at the very least, overcast skies. We even had rain come into play in our second game of the day. Lander and Belmont Abbey had the fans scrambling as the rain started to come down early in that contest, and then it started to come down a little bit harder, and then the wind started blowing and was blowing it straight in from center field. And here at Burger King Stadium, part of the new renovations includes a brand new roof that's overhead. It covers approximately 75% or so of the stands here, but the direction of the wind allowed that rain to blow into the stands, and it was a mad dash to see who could get into the top 2 rows by the press box. Those are the premier seats here. Up the middle, Ryan Eiley bobbles it, collects it, throws, and it got through Mike McClellan, and now the runner's going to come to the plate, and he'll be safe. He'll dive in without a throw. An error on the Cougars causes another run to come across. It is 7-1.
The catcher, Brett Lang.
Things unraveling for Columbus State here on this Saturday afternoon. CSU was a top 10 team in the country in fielding percentage during the regular season. Number 1 in the country in double plays turned. They have not shown the fielding percentage portion of it in this tournament. They did turn 3 double plays this morning, but they also committed a couple of errors, one of which was very costly in the first inning that allowed 2 unearned runs to score. First error of this one, though, brings an unearned run across. Makes it a 7-1 game. Mount Olive putting it on cruise control here in the fourth. You're going to find out what Columbus State is made of over the final 5 innings. They've been a resilient bunch and a team that has never been out of a ball game. But you're really going to test the mettle and mindset of a team with 5 innings left in its season, potentially staring 6 runs or more down on the scoreboard. It's an explosive offense, but they're going to have to be with a little extra gasoline on the fire to try to come back with 15 outs to play. Runner faked from first on the 0-2 pitch. It was outside. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Again, just an uneasy stillness to the stands here at Burger King Stadium. We've had good crowds throughout the day for the 2 Columbus State games as Lang gives it a long ride to center field, and Fichter will grab it a step shy of the track out in center field. The crowd here in Columbus hoping that the Cougars can find some offense. Those that have made the trip from Mount Olive hoping otherwise. 4 complete here in Columbus, Georgia. 7-1 Mount Olive in an elimination game at the Southeast Regional. Top of the order coming up for Columbus State in the top of the 5th inning. Jackson Oliver, Ryan Eiley, and Mike McClellan. Bryton Hudson working with a little bit more of a lead now, though. He's out there with a 6-run cushion, 7-1. First 2 pitches are down, though. 2 balls and no strikes. Make it 3-0. Last thing you want to do here on the mound with a 6-run lead is walk the leadoff man and jumpstart a good offense. And he's going to do just that. That ball bounces to the backstop. Jackson Oliver takes a 4-pitch walk, and Columbus State will try to turn this in now to some runs to chip away.
The second baseman, Ryan Eiley.
Columbus State trying to avoid being 2 and done as the number 1 seed in this tournament. There have already been a couple of number 1 seeds that have been eliminated in the NCAA regionals as this ball's right back. 1-6-3 double play. So the leadoff walk is quickly erased, and the double play makes it 2 outs.
The first baseman, Mike McClellan.
The number 1 seed in the South Central Regional was also a 2 and done team. That was Colorado Mesa. Earlier today, the University of Tampa went out. They were 2 and done. As McClellan rolls it foul. The other number 1 seeds are all still alive in their respective regionals. But to have 2 of them already gone at 0-2 and a third staring at a potential 0-2, that is rare air for these regional rounds. That ball bounced in the dirt, and I think that got nothing but arm of Brett Lang. I don't think that got any of the protection the catcher wears there. A ball and 2 strikes to McClellan as he takes the pitch down below the knees. This is the 3rd of 4 games we're playing here today in Columbus, as that one also got Lang cleanly. McClellan fouled it off. It knocked the mask off of Brett Lang. Home plate umpire Tony Williams will offer up Lang a few seconds as he'll get new baseballs. He'll walk a baseball out to the mound and allow the catcher to have a few seconds to collect himself. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the number 3 hitter in the Columbus State order. Mike rips this one down into the Mount Olive bullpen. Mike is 2 for 2. He has a solo home run that is responsible for the only run Columbus State has in the ball game. He also has a single, and now he's been hit by a pitch, and that is nothing new. Mike owns the Columbus State single season hit by pitch record, and that was number 17 right there. And no, 17 is not the record. He was hit 22 times last year.
The designated hitter, Christian Miller.
So Mike has been on all 3 times he's been to the plate. Christian Miller, who follows him in the order and is coming up now, has been on, and both times he's been up there. So these 2 guys are combined 5 for 5 at getting on base. They just need a little help. Pitch outside from Hudson. And the other problem for Columbus State at the moment is Their first base runner in a lot of these innings is coming with 2 outs. It's tough to do a lot with your offense when the base runners aren't coming until 2 outs in the inning. It was a 2-out home run and a single in the first for Columbus State. They got a 2-out walk for their base runner in the second. In the third, it was a 2-out single and a 2-out double that started the offense. In the fourth, it was a leadoff double that they did nothing with. And in this inning, they get a leadoff walk, and then it's erased by a double play before a 2-out hit by pitch. So Hudson has done a good job keeping the Columbus State offense from stringing and backing hits up with more. On the ground to third, one hopper, Reagan Fields. He'll go the short way to second. Miller hit it right on the nose, but Mount Olive handles it defensively, and we are halfway home here in game number 7 of the NCAA Southeast Regional. It is 7-1. Mount Olive in front. Columbus State changing a few things up here as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Stephen Wallace to lead things off for Mount Olive. It'll be Brandon Kaler that will come out of the bullpen and start the 5th inning for Columbus State. This is the first time he's worked in relief all season. He's made 15 appearances, all of them starts. He's 10-1 this season, but he was penciled in to be the Game 3 starter of this NCAA Regional. At the current pace they're going at, there will not be a Game 3 for Columbus State because they find themselves down 7-1 here in the bottom of the 5th inning of an elimination game to Mount Olive. Kaler, a 5.69 ERA, so the record and the ERA really don't go hand in hand. The 1-1 pitch goes to the backstop. Hunter Bowling is also in for Columbus State, so he comes in as the new catcher. Hunter usually catches Brandon when he starts, so I would assume that is the mindset here for Greg Appleton. Let him have his usual catcher. That means that Lake Hart is out of the ball game as Kaler hits the outside corner. It was an up-and-down weekend for Brandon Kaler last weekend at the Peach Belt Conference Tournament. He started the opening game for CSU against 8th-seeded North Georgia. He got 4 outs, gave up 6 runs, and CSU lost it 7-6. The 2-2. It's high and it's full. He only got 4 outs, though, which meant his pitch count stayed pretty low. That was on Wednesday. He came back on Sunday, was available for the Peach Belt Conference Championship game, took on second-seeded and at the time sixth-ranked Lander, and for the second time in the year, he defeated the Bearcats. Lander has only lost 14 games this season. Brandon Kaler beat them twice. He gave up just 3 runs in 7 innings of work that day as CSU won the automatic bid and more than likely won this regional host spot with a 9-4 win. That was last Sunday. 3-2 pitch just off the outside corner. Kaler thought he had a strike. Instead, Wallace draws the leadoff walk.
The first baseman, Joe Kohler.
Well, this will be an interesting matchup. 2 guys whose last names are spelled the exact same and pronounced nothing alike. Both of them spelled Koehler. For Mount Olive, it is Joe Kohler. For Columbus State, it is Brandon Kaler. So it's the battle of the same spellings, different pronunciations as Kohler swings through the pitch from Kaler. They could come from the same family tree, and at some point, somewhere, one branch decided to change the way it was said. Who knows? The 0-1, Kohler pops it up on the infield. Then he slings the bat away as Justin Evans calls off Blake Edwards, and Kaler retires Kohler. First time the Cougars have been able to get out Kohler, who is now 2 for 3.
The left fielder, David Mayo.
That'll bring up David Mayo. Mayo 0 for 2. 6 of the 9 Mount Olive starters have hits in this ball game. Only Kohler, who just made the out, has multiple hits. 5 other guys with just 1, as that fastball at the knees is called a strike. So Columbus State down 6 with 12 outs left in its season. You can do pretty simple math there. A run every 2 outs. Don't have to have too much of a college education to be able to get that one done. That is a foul ball. Quick ruling that time by Kevin Morgan at third. One of the benefits of the NCAA tournament is having 4 umpires, 1 at each base. During the regular season, you operate with 2. So no balls and 2 strikes to David Mayo. Wallace, the base runner at first, being held on by McClellan as Mayo spoils a breaking ball. It appears to be Kyle Peels that's up in the Columbus State bullpen down the right field line. Mount Olive bullpen is stagnant for the moment, and rightfully so. Bryton Hudson's thrown well so far through 5. He's needed just 77 pitches to hold this potent Columbus State offense to 1 run on 5 hits. Pitching to contact. He doesn't have a strikeout yet, but he's getting outs. High chopper to third. Edwards leaps into the air to grab it. His only play will be to first, and it's a good throw. He gets Mayo by half a step for the second out of the inning.
The third baseman, Bradley Reagan.
Good play by the Columbus State third baseman. And now the Mount Olive third baseman will dig into the batter's box. Bradley Reagan He is also 0 for 2. Has a man in scoring position right now. Mount Olive has scored in each of the last 3 innings after being held scoreless, as Luke Porter, who started the ball game for Columbus State, worked a 1-2-3 perfect first inning. Luke Porter started, got just 7 outs. Jacob Bakuchi went and got the next 5. And now Brandon Kaler out there for, you would imagine, as long as he can go. Brandon would have been slated to start the next game in this tournament for CSU, but Greg Appleton will worry about that when he gets there, if he gets there. He's got to win this game first for that game to even matter, or to even happen. Swing and a miss by Reagan there. It's 2 balls and a strike. Mount Olive playing its 3rd game of this tournament, as they came in as the 7 seed. Columbus State did not play for the first time until today. We had 2 days of this tournament, 4 games, and a team had already gone home before Columbus State hit the field this morning. And then the Cougars fell 8-5 in extra innings. Again, a nice night at the ballpark. Not much noise happening, though. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch from Kaler. Swing and a miss in the dirt. Hunter Bowling will keep it in front of him and tag him out. So Brandon Kaler works a scoreless 5th inning. Cougar offense coming to the plate. It needs a jump start. We've played 5 here in Columbus. It's 7-1 Mount Olive here at the NCAA Southeast Regional on Cougar Sports TV. Bryton Hudson back to the mound to start off the 6th inning. Drops in a curveball. And the left-hander is in front, 0-1 on Blake Edwards. 7-1 the score, as Columbus State is only being out-hit by Mount Olive 7-5. But that is a big 7-1 differential in the run column. Fastball's outside. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Cougars have left 6 on base. Trojans have left 3. As Edwards loops this one into right. Right in his tracks, though. That is an easy grab for Wallace to make as the ball hung up for him for the first out.
The left fielder, Matt Nettles.
First pitch to Matt Nettles. Drops into the strike zone. This is what postseason is about. It doesn't matter what you've done in regular season play. The Cougars went 42-12 in the regular season. But if you go 0-2, There's a reason the saying goes 0-2 in barbecue, because you're off to the summer. 1-2 pitch coming. Nettles hits it in the air, but plenty of room in center field as he slams the bat down. The frustration starting to set in for Columbus State as Orison makes the grab for the second out of the inning.
The shortstop, Justin Evans.
Mount Olive riding the momentum they built last night in the first elimination game they played. The losers of the second and third game of this regional, and this one would be Catawba and Mount Olive, they had the longest path back through the tournament as Evans swings in front of a changeup. Those two teams, after they lost, each had to win 6 games in a row facing elimination to get the regional championship and a spot in Cary, North Carolina for the national championship in the World Series. Evans rolls this one back through the middle, right over the mound and into center field. It'll be the 6th hit of the game for CSU, but again, it comes with 2 outs and the base is empty.
The catcher, Hunter Bowling.
Two outs, the base. Get a out hit with runners. The only run they scored did come with 2 outs, but it was the bases empty and a solo home run. Hunter Bowling with his first at plate appearance of this ball game. In place of it's 2 balls and no strikes. Hunter was in the first call time. It's got to start soon here if you're Brighton Hudson has done a terrific job. Ball game right here. Bowling line drive into left field. That'll find the grass. Back-to-back singles with 2 outs. And again, the Cougars in position set up. And now time will be called and a visit will be paid to the mound. Hudson has thrown 92 pitches, and there is a right-hander up.
The center fielder, Tyler Fichter.
So a quick meeting to talk things over with Hudson. Now he'll go to work with Tyler Fichter, the number 9 man in the CSU order. 2 on and 2 outs. First pitch fastball for a strike. Fichter is 2. He lined out his last time up. Hit one right at the second baseman, Brandon Day. Both teams with 7 hits, but it's about putting them together. In the dirt, Lang able to scoop that up. Some of the Tusculum players starting to make an appearance here in the stands at Burger King Stadium. They will play for the first time in 2 days. It's been more than 48 hours since they have played. They are the 5 seed in this tournament. They will go in the nightcap of this 4-game quadruple header. Belmont Abbey starting to stroll into the park a little bit as well. That is their opponent. 2-1 pitch. Outside corner for a strike. And Hudson 1 pitch away from getting out of another situation with guys on base. Right back to the mound. Hudson fields, flips to first, and he will get out of it once more. Runners left on base number 7 and 8 for Columbus State, which is down to 9 outs in its season. Mount Olive on top 7-1, trying to keep their season alive here on Cougar Sports TV. Time running out here in game number 7 of the NCAA Southeast Regional. Mount Olive trying to continue to add on to its 6-run lead. They lead it 7-1 as Ricky Surham takes ball 1 here in the bottom of the 6th. Surham is 1 for 2. He singled through the left side his last at bat. Hit this one straight up in the air though. Foul of first. Hunter Bowling gives chase, and it's going to land right by the concession stand in the concourse. Brandon Kaler out for his 2nd inning of work in his first relief stint of the year. Couldn't afford to hold on to him, though, to start another game, because if you don't win this one, there is not another game, as he tries to make a kick save on that ball back through the middle, unable to get contact with it. Probably for the better, though. Those usually don't end up well and just leave you with a bruise.
The second baseman, Brandon Day.
Brandon Day will bat now with a runner on. That's the 8th hit of the ball game for Mount Olive. That really has been one of the differences. Mount Olive has gotten a lot of its base runners on early in innings and had a lot of at-bats with runners on base. Not the case for Columbus State, who's getting the majority of its runners with 2 outs and the bases clear. Kaler working out of the stretch. Day going to put a bunt down. Kaler will field it, first base side of the mound, and throw on. And you can see Carl Lancaster doesn't necessarily trust that 6 may be enough. Still playing small ball. They're trying to tack on 1 run here, 1 run there.
The center fielder, Zach Orison.
Flip the lineup card over. Zach Orison walks to home plate. Orison 1 for 3. Beat out an infield single on a ball in the hole that's short. Justin Evans got to it, but didn't field it cleanly. It would have had no play anyway. Although you can never tell him that because with his arm, he thinks he has a play on everything, which is usually true, but that ball by Orison with his foot speed, there was no play to be made. Seven runs on 8 hits for the Trojans. This is their highest offensive output in their 3 games in the regional. Kaler went to pick off. Surham dove back in, but nobody was covering up the base. One 0 pitch, chopped to third. Blake Edwards gets to it, but it's in foul territory. 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, coming up later tonight, Tusculum Belmont Abbey. First pitch scheduled for 8:30, but unless we finish the next 3 innings here in 15 minutes, that one will not start at 8:30. That was just a hope and a prayer anyway. The 4th of 4 games on a day. 45-minute gaps minimum between games and 3.5 hours between game times. You had no shot at that game starting at 8:30. As that ball, a wild pitch in the dirt, is going to allow the base runner Surham to scamper over to third. Orison went around on the check swing, though, so it's a ball and 2 strikes. Sun is dipped behind a cloud over there on the left field corner, thus the reason you see some of the shadows that you're catching at the moment. Kaler will go back to the windup with 1 out as CSU brings the infield in. He spikes that one with a second straight pitch, but this time not far enough away for any movement. Infield in at the grass all the way around the 2-2. Chopped off the body. That one caught a piece of Orison, so he stays there. Kaler has his sign. He winds, and he will fire the 2-2. Again, fouled off. Bowling pounds the mitt, frustrated that he couldn't hang on to it for a strikeout. That's really what Kaler is looking for here, is a strikeout. The 2-2 once more. Again, Bowling forced to drop to his knees to keep that one in the dirt at home plate. Payoff pitch coming to Orison. On the ground to third, right at Blake Edwards. He fields, looks at Surham right next to him, and throws to first. Orison hit that ball right on the nose, but right at Blake Edwards for the second out.
The designated hitter, Jack Sherrill.
Jack Sherrill working on a 1-for-3 game. That one, an RBI double, came back in the third inning. It gave them the lead 2-1, as that one's coming down right on our heads up here. No bang, so it must have landed in the concourse right behind us here at Burger King Stadium. There's the sun again. It's starting to wear out the people on the first base side of the stands. It's catching the people on the third base side as well, but not just directly in the face. Pitch in for a strike. It's 0-2. Wind blowing in slightly from right field at the moment. The 0-2 pitch off the end of the bat, foul. The Conference Carolinas and Peach Belt Conference tournament champions squaring off here. One of them will be into summer before the night is over with. The other will play another ball game tomorrow. The 0-2. This one's towards the Cougar dugout, which tonight is not over at third base. It's on the first base side. Cougars also in the red uniforms, the red tops that they usually wear in Game 3 of a weekend series. As the visiting team, they had to change out of the white uniforms they were wearing when they were the home team this morning. So the red this evening, and Mount Olive went with its green. Swing and a miss. Kaler threw the fastball by him. So the leadoff runner comes back for nothing. Kaler has a couple of shutout innings, and Columbus State will head back to the plate. Mount Olive 9 outs away from moving on. It's 7-1 Trojans here on Cougar Sports TV. Seventh inning here at Burger King Stadium. Top of the order coming up for Columbus State. Jackson Oliver takes the first pitch low for ball one. Second pitch is in there for a strike. It's 1-1. It's the fourth time that Jackson has let off an inning in this ball game, as this one's down the left field line. Twisting foul And it will drop harmlessly in foul territory by the batting cages, where one of our next teams is warming up. A ball and 2 strikes to Jackson Oliver, who is 0 for 2 with a walk. 0 for no longer, though, as he reaches out and pokes that single into left field. And one of the rare times through the first 7 innings, Columbus State has a leadoff base runner.
The second baseman, Ryan Eiley.
Columbus State is going to start coming back. It's going to happen here in the top of its order. Ryan Eiley. Strike. Just crossed over pitch mark. That this game. That is a big part of the story. Cougars got a solo home run in the first, have not scored since. And Olive got a run in the second, 5 in the third, in which they had 5 of their 8 hits, and 1 in the fourth. The 1 in the fourth was unearned. Fouled that one off, and that got again nothing but Brett Lang. That one looked like it caught the hand side of Lang. So our home plate umpire, Tony Williams, is going to walk out and talk dinner reservations with Brighton Hudson. See if either one of them has found a good spot in Columbus to grab some food. Part of the mutual respect game. The catcher and the umpire play with each other. One of them gets hit with a foul ball. The other will spend a little time moseying around so the other can collect themselves. Still 1-2. Jackson Oliver at first after the leadoff single. Hudson to the plate. On the ground to third. Double play ball. 5 to 4 to 3. They got him. And for the second time, a leadoff base runner is erased on a double play, and Greg Appleton is going to come out of the first base dugout and argue this call. Bang, bang play at first. And our first base umpire, Josh Reap, rung him up for an out, and Greg Appleton not pleased about the call, and he is letting him know about it. I think some of the frustration settling in as well in this argument. And now Greg going back for a little bit more.
The first baseman, Mike McClellan.
So the base runner is erased. Another double play for Mount Olive. And Hudson is 1 out away from being through 7. Mike McClellan, the batter. He is a perfect 2 for 2 today. He's hit a solo home run. Also has a base knock and has been hit by a pitch. Pitch in the dirt makes it a ball and 2 strikes. Mount Olive has Columbus State 7 outs away. from elimination as McClellan fights it off. Brett Lang is going to need some well-deserved ice when this game is over. He has taken a beating back there. On the ground to third. Reagan all the way over in front of the shortstop position, makes the throw on the run. Mount Olive making all of the plays defensively tonight, and they are 6 outs away from moving on. Time to stretch here at the ballpark. 7-1 Trojans here at the NCAA Southeast Regional. Seven-1 the score. Mount Olive, couple of at-bats still to go for them before they can try to close things out in the top of the ninth inning. They lead it, though, by 6 runs as Brett Lang leads off the bottom of the 7th inning with a fly ball to straightaway center field. Tyler Fichter in the shadows grabs it for out number 1. 1 pitch, 1 out for Brandon Kaler.
The right fielder, Stephen Wallace.
Stephen Wallace, the batter now. First pitch to Stephen Wallace, fouled into the netting. Oh, 1 coming to Wallace. Right field. This one not deep enough to be a home run like his last time he hit a ball to right field as Jackson Oliver comes to track that one down. So a couple of really easy outs for Brandon Kaler. And here we go again. Kohler and Kaler.
The first baseman, Joe Kohler.
Koehler. Kaler. Koehler. Not to confuse anybody at home or anything. First pitch is in there for a strike to Kohler, who is 2 for 3. He has a solo home run, also has a double. And he also has a pair of strikes on him here in this at-bat. He's 0-2 with 2 away. Right now, though, Mount Olive's not counting balls and strikes. They're counting outs. And you barely need more than one hand to count how many they have left to get. That ball laced down into the Cougar bullpen. There's a pair of guys that have been sitting down there on the bench for CSU for about an hour now. believe it's Kyle Peels and Dylan Tomlin. Just good conversation. It's a nice night out. It's a relatively calm environment. They've just been basking in the sun. The 0-2. Chopped foul. Well, the guy playing the trumpet, he's here. The organist here too. The trombone player was not invited back. Popped up again, but it will be out of play. Third base side this time. There she is. We don't let people see. Oliver will be. Four, 5, and 6 due up for Columbus State here in the top of the 8th inning. As the Cougars try to fight off elimination. They need as many runs as they have outs remaining. Wright and Hudson trying to give Carl Lancaster just what the doctor ordered. That is a very long starting outing and even potentially a complete game. He's already accomplished the long starting outing. He needs 6 outs for the complete game. Pitches up high. 2 balls and a strike to Christian Miller. Miller has a couple of hits in the ball game. He has a single and a double. He went the opposite way for a single back in the first. Pulled a double down the third baseline his second time up. Hits this one straight up the chute. Long look at it before it falls. Right over around the concession stand and bathroom area behind the first base dugout. Eight hits in the ball game given up by Hudson, but he scattered them as that ball's just foul. Shadows, more of them starting to creep onto the field now. The sun here at Burger King Stadium sets off to the left field corner. That's the direction west, over where the Chattahoochee River lies. Pitch was close, but missed outside. Columbus right on the border of Georgia and Alabama. Chattahoochee River separates it, and the sun working its way in that direction. 3-2, swing and a miss in the dirt. Ball is picked up by the catcher Lang. He jogs halfway there. Just needed to get a few of his sprints in before he tosses on for the out.
The third baseman, Blake Edwards.
Blake Edwards, the batter now. Blake 0 for 3, playing what could be his final collegiate game. You can say that, though, about a lot of the Columbus State players. If the Cougars do go down with 5 outs to go and down by 6, 12 guys on this roster will have played their final game at this field. Out in front of that pitch, and he's down in the count 0-2. Blake, one of the 12 seniors, the majority of this starting lineup in that category. As he lines this one to right center field, that's down for a hit. Blake Edwards with a base knock. It comes with 1 out here in the 8th, and the Cougars will hope that that will jumpstart something.
The left fielder, Matt Nettles.
Columbus State now is officially out-hitting Mount Olive in this ball game. The problem is they've only found 1 run. Matt Nettles up. He doubled his last time up, banged one just below the yellow line. Out there in right field. The yellow line on top of the wall here at Burger King Stadium does not mean anything, as Greg Appleton told all the coaches in the administrative meeting. It's just for show. It's got to fully clear the wall and not come back into the stadium here for it to be a home run. The only exception would be if it hits that big net that hangs pretty taut from right field line to center field. Ball in the dirt makes it 2 balls and 2 strikes to Nettles. So a lot of times you'll watch balls hit to right or right center, bounce off of that netting and back into the field. Sometimes, if you're not paying attention, it'll make it difficult to see and judge whether it went over the wall or not. That'll reach the seats or above. But the yellow line means nothing, and Matt Nettles hit it just underneath that yellow line his last time up for a leadoff double. Cougars then, though, proceeded to make 3 consecutive outs and could not get him even off second base. Outside, and the count is going to go full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. If you're Columbus State, it can't happen with 1 swing. There is no 6-run home run. They got to go at bat by at bat and pass the bat. As this ball's hit into right center field, that's going to get down for a hit. Maybe extra bases as it's going to roll all the way to the wall. Blake Edwards around third. He's going to come in to score, and Matt Nettles has his 2nd double of the ball game. It's an RBI double, and the Cougars are on the board for the first time since the 1st inning.
The shortstop, Justin Evans.
Justin Evans will be the batter now as Columbus State tries to continue to pass the bat down the line. So does that spark a Cougar rally, or can Hudson do what he's done all day and dance around trouble? Evans tried to bunt that pitch for a base hit down the third base line, but instead he did not make contact on it, and he ends up with a strike. Justin is 1 for 3. rolled a single right back through the middle his last time up. Big cut there from the freshman out of Kennesaw, Georgia. Fouls it into the screen. Hudson just threw pitch number 130 of the night. There have been some high pitch counts in this regional. I guess the coach is figuring, though, you're not going to throw again for at least another week to 10 days if you win the regional. So just go ahead and let it air out. Evans fouled it off and stays alive. Breaking ball he was out in front of. Outside, the appeal. Check down to first, says he did not go around. Pitch number 132 there. Hudson still has some work to do, though, if he wants to catch his teammate. Austin Hutchison last night in the victory over Catawba, the first elimination game the Trojans have won. He threw 147. Change up, got Evans. A strikeout for Hudson. And now Hunter Bowling will bat.
The catcher, Hunter Bowling.
Hunter Bowling at the plate now with 2 down and a runner on second. Shosbunt pulls back and takes a strike. Matt Nettles on at second as Bowling lays down the bunt. I think they're going to say it hit him outside of the batter's box, though. Hunter in disbelief over at first. Home plate umpire Tony Williams ruled that it hit him out of the batter's box, though, and therefore he is going to be out. So that will wrap up the top of the 8th inning. Cougars get a run on Matt Nettles' RBI double. They need 5 of them, though, when they go to the 9th. Mount Olive hoping to add on a couple more for insurance here on Cougar Sports TV. Mount Olive coming to bat for what they hope is the final time on the night. They have a 5-run lead in this elimination ball game here in the bottom of the 8th inning. David Mayo leading things off. At this point, the offense not really of much significance for Mount Olive, at least they hope. A 1-0 to Mayo. That's in there for a strike. Brandon Kaler has been good out of the bullpen for CSU. He has already thrown 3 innings of 1-hit baseball, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. Mayo 0 for 3 still hitless to this point. Mayo, Reagan, and Day. The 3 in the Mount Olive lineup that do not have hits just yet. On the ground to short, Justin Evans gives ground, but he has the arm to make up for it. And he throws out Mayo for the first out.
The third baseman, Bradley Reagan.
So Kaler continues his good work. We will see what Carl Lancaster chooses to do. He let Austin Hutchison finish out the ball game last night, going into the 9th inning at a very similar pitch count to where Brighton Hudson is at right now. Hudson, if he goes to the 9th, will walk out there already 136 pitches deep. But he has given up just 2 runs on 10 hits. Pitch in there for a strike. Hutchison had a similar outing. He gave up 11 hits to Catawba. Now, Hutchison was much more dominant in the strikeout department. He had 12 of those. Hudson has 2. Shows you there are different ways to get the same job done on a baseball field. Hutchison was throwing it by folks. Hudson was pitching to contact. Swing and a miss in the dirt. Bowling keeps it in front of him. He'll have to throw to McClellan down at first, and he will do so. That'll make it 2 away here in the 8th.
The shortstop, Ricky Surham.
Ricky Surham now. Bats with the bases clear and 2 down. First pitch he sees. It's a breaking ball. It sweeps outside. Taken for ball 1. 2 runs, 10 hits, 1 error for Columbus State. 7 runs, 8 hits for Mount Olive. They have not had many hits since their 5-run 3rd inning. They had 5 runs on 5 hits in the 3rd. They had a solo home run in the 2nd. Over the next 4 2/3 innings so far, they have had just 2 hits. The bats have gone quiet, but the damage was done early. So far, it's been enough. Edwards on the dive, didn't get it, but on the foul side of the bag. So a harmless ground ball. Again, make sure you stick around with us after the conclusion of this one. About 45 minutes or so after the final out is recorded, we will get set for the nightcap of our quadruple header. It'll be Tusculum and Belmont Abbey in an elimination game of their own. Inside half of the plate there, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Brandon Kaler has been a real shot of life on the mound for Columbus State here out of the bullpen, but it's been too little too late. Another strikeout for Kaler. Bowling again will have to throw it to first. McClellan navigates the bag, and Kaler gets a couple of strikeouts in the inning. He has 4 total, and Mount Olive needs 3 to win it. 7-2 Trojans here at the NCAA Southeast Regional on Cougar Sports TV. Columbus State's going to need the miracle of all miracles here in the top of the ninth inning to keep the season going. Mount Olive hoping that this will just go without any drama. It is Brighton Hudson that comes out to finish when he started. Carl Lancaster is going to at least give him the opportunity to do that. Tyler Fichter, and then the top of the Cougar order. Missed the second one in there for a strike. The next one, pitch number 139. Line drive, looping to short, over the head of Surham, and into left field for a base hit.
The right fielder, Jackson Oliver.
That the 11th hit of the ball game for Columbus State. Again, though, they have left base runners everywhere. 9 of them already. Jackson Oliver, 1 for 3. Breaking ball on the outside corner. Jackson 1 hit away from number 90 in his season. Again, 3 other Cougars have reached 90. Jackson hits this one on a line to center field, but right at Orison. It has been that kind of night for Columbus State. Ball hit right at him for out number 1.
The second baseman, Ryan Eiley.
Mount Olive needs just 2. Tyler Fichter, the base runner at first, still being held on. Ryan Eiley takes the pitch for a strike. He is 0 for 4 in this ball game. Chopped back to the mound. This could potentially do it. 1 to 4, and the throw back to first not in time as Eiley dives across the first base bag. But Columbus State's season has just 1 out potentially left in it.
The first baseman, Mike McClellan.
So the season hangs in the balance for Columbus State with Mike McClellan at the plate. He can't get it all back by himself, but he can continue to pass the bat. Cougars need to find 5 2-out runs or Mount Olive is moving on. Eiley not being held on over at first. Pitch in there for a strike, and McClellan down 0-2. Mount Olive trying to set up a date with either Belmont Abbey or Tusculum. 3:30 tomorrow. Game will be right here on Cougar Sports TV for you. Belmont Abbey and Tusculum will decide who will meet them 45 minutes after this one finishes. The 0-2. Line drive hammered to left. That's going to sink down in front of the left fielder, Mayo, for a base hit. And the Cougars not done, at least for one more batter.
The designated hitter, Christian Miller.
So that means Brighton Hudson, one more pitch, and he will officially have the highest pitch count of the tournament. He is at 147. He has matched his teammate, Austin Hutchison. Mike McClellan, 3 for 4. If this is the way his career comes to a close, what a career it was in a Cougar uniform. 92 hits for him this season, 19 home runs, and 71 driven in. Christian Miller, hoping to keep it going. He has 2 hits today as well. First pitch fastball, outside corner, strike 1. 2 guys on, 2 guys out. Mount Olive trying to punch its ticket into the next round. 7-2 the score. The 0-1. outside. And the ever-elusive pitch number 150 about to make its way to home plate. 150 is outside. Carl Lancaster trying everything he can to let Brighton Hudson finish this ball game, but he does have people up in the bullpen just in case. There's a swing that comes up empty. And for the second straight at bat, Columbus State down to its final strike. Two balls, two strikes, 2 outs. Hudson sents the 2-2. Back through the middle. It hit off of Hudson, and it's out in front of the mound. He can't find it, and everybody's safe. That caught nothing but shoe for Brighton Hudson, and the bases are loaded. And Carl Lancaster is out of the dugout, and it looks like Brighton Hudson's not going to be able to finish this one off. CSU still needs one more guy to reach before they bring the tying run to the plate. But things may be getting a little too tight for Carl Lancaster's liking. Plus that pitch count getting awful high. He has not made a call to the bullpen. There is a right-hander up and throwing down the line. It appears to be Dario Santangelo. And it is going to be Hudson that will have at least one more batter to try to finish this. Santangelo has already thrown once, and I believe he got up and warmed up in the bullpen last night late.
The third baseman, Blake Edwards.
Pops it up. Under it, he makes the grab. Mount Olive is moving on. The Trojans win it 7 right here. The Cougars end the season at 42-14. Mount Olive, their 33rd win of the season. And that is the end of the line for CSU. Mount Olive moves on. They'll take on the winner of Belmont, Abbey, and Tusculum, which comes your way around 9 o'clock for the first pitch. With that, we'll take the break, rejoin you in about 45. The nightcap will come your way. Your final score here, 7-2, Mount Olive wins it.